Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that changed my life. Every single day you wake up is a gift. I'm not just saying that to sound motivational. I'm saying that because I know what it feels like to wake up and not have a dime, no plan, no hope, but still have another chance. Another day to figure it out, another day to say, I'm not finished yet. Every day is a blessing. Treat it like your last chance to become better. That idea isn't just poetic, it's real. Life isn't promised. Waking up in the morning is not something we are owed. It's something we are gifted. The fact that you get another 24 hours is a sign that there's still more for you to do, still more for you to learn, still more for you to become, and still more for you to become. But what most people don't realize is that the value of a day is only unlocked when you decide to treat it like it matters. Most people wake up and go through the motions like they on autopilot. They get out of bed, check their phone, complain about the day ahead, and drag themselves through a routine without ever once realizing that this might be their last shot to get something right, to say something that needs to be said, to chase something that sets their soul on fire. If today were your last day, would you be proud of how you lived it? Would you be satisfied with how you showed up? That's not a question meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Because becoming better doesn't happen someday. It happens today. You don't need a new year, a Monday, or some perfect starting point. You need this moment right now and the mindset to treat it like your opportunity to grow. If you want to be better, you start by being present. You start by being grateful that you're here and able. And then you use that gratitude as fuel to take action, to improve, to learn, to stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone. The biggest mistake people make is assuming they have time. Time to forgive, time to fix things, time to grow, time to build. But the truth is, time runs out. And when you understand that deeply, you stop wasting it. You stop holding grudges. You stop procrastinating. You stop saying one day and start saying day one. You begin to honor each hour of your life like it matters, because it does. You stop letting the little distractions take you away from your big dream. You start prioritizing things that make your soul feel alive. You stop sleeping on your potential, because when you treat every day like it's your last chance to become better, you live differently. You talk with more honesty. You listen with more care. You love with more depth. You grind with more purpose. That mindset is powerful. It creates urgency, but not panic. It creates focus, but not pressure. It keeps you locked in on what matters most, your growth, your contribution, your legacy. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the best. You just have to get up every morning and ask yourself, how can I be a little better than I was yesterday? That's it. That's the game. And when you play that game long enough, you look up one day and realize you become someone stronger, wiser, more fulfilled, not because life handed you a shortcut, but because you made a choice. You chose to see every sunrise as a signal that you still have time to change your life. You chose to treat every conversation like it mattered. You chose to stop wasting time and start building something meaningful. That's how you become better. One intentional day at a time, one courageous decision at a time, one honest step at a time, not because anyone's forcing you, but because you understand that time is a gift and becoming better is your responsibility. Purpose isn't found, it's chosen and lived intentionally. Too many people spend their lives waiting for a magical sign or some perfect moment to discover their purpose, like it's hidden under a rock somewhere or locked behind a secret door only life can open. But that's not how it works. Purpose is not something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you decide to walk toward. It's something you commit to. It starts the moment you stop looking outside of yourself for meaning and start creating it from within. Purpose grows the more you show up, the more you give yourself permission to evolve, to try, to fail, and to rise again with greater clarity. It's not always grand or loud. Sometimes purpose is quiet. Sometimes it's found in the small acts, showing up for your family, creating something that inspires others, serving with kindness even when no one's watching. Waiting for purpose to show up means you putting the power of your life in something outside of you. But when you choose purpose, you take control. You stop asking, what's my purpose? And start asking, what matters to me right now, and how can I build my life around that? That shift changes everything. It puts you in the driver's seat. Purpose isn't always about a specific career or one big call. It's a way of living. It's about waking up and deciding to be intentional with your time, your energy, your words, and your presence. It's about choosing to do things that make a difference, even in the smallest way. Purpose expands when you give yourself to something greater than just comfort or convenience. It grows when you push past fear, when you silence the voices of doubt, and when you act with courage, even when you feel uncertain. People wait for clarity before they take action. But what they don't understand is that clarity comes from movement. You find out who you are by getting involved, by trying things, by following what lights you up. You don't need to have it all figured out to live on purpose. You just need to care enough to begin. Choosing purpose means deciding that your life matters, that your story matters, that your existence can bring value to the world in a way that no one else's can. And when you believe that deeply, your whole mindset shifts. You stop chasing validation and start focusing on impact. You stop living small and start stepping into who you were meant to become. Living with intention doesn't mean every day is perfect or productive. It means every day you try. Every day you check in with yourself and ask if you're aligning with your values, if you're growing, if you're staying true to what really matters to you. Purpose brings direction in the chaos. It keeps you grounded when things get hard. It gives your actions weight, your choices meaning, and your struggles worth. When you choose purpose, even your pain has a place. Even your setbacks become part of something bigger. You're no longer just surviving the days. You're shaping them, using them, building something with them. When you live on purpose, you stop living for the weekend or for the next break or for retirement. You start living fully now. That energy is contagious. It inspires people around you. It lifts rooms. It opens doors. People feel the difference in how you carry yourself when you know why you do what you do. There's no confusion in your steps, no wasted motion. You wake up with a mission, and that mission fuels everything. It brings discipline, focus, and fire. That's what separates people who drift through life from those who drive their life forward. They didn't find their purpose, they chose it. And they chose it again every single day, no matter what life threw at them. Morning is the most powerful time to set your mindset for success. The way you start your day shapes how you walk through it, think through it, and grow through it. The first few moments after waking up hold incredible power over your thoughts, your mood, your energy, and ultimately your outcomes. Most people don't realize they're giving away that power without even knowing it. They wake up, grab their phone, scroll through negativity, comparison, and noise, and wonder why they feel drained before the day has even begun. But when you learn to protect your mornings, to be intentional with those first thoughts, you unlock a level of control over your life that most people never experience. The morning is your reset. It's your moment to choose your focus, to choose your energy, and to decide how you want to show up in the world today. The day hasn't thrown anything at you yet. The problems haven't arrived. The distractions haven't pulled you in. You're at your most clear, your most honest, your most open to growth. And that's where your power lies. When you wake up and immediately feed your mind with purpose, gratitude, and vision, you're training yourself to see life through a lens of possibility instead of pressure. You start from a place of intention instead of reaction. It doesn't require hours of meditation or some perfect routine. It requires discipline and presence. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes to be still, to reflect, to breathe before you let the world in. Maybe it's writing down what you're grateful for or reminding yourself of your goals. Maybe it's speaking affirmations that align with the future you're building. Whatever it looks like, it's about being deliberate with your start, because if you own the morning, you can guide the momentum of the rest of the day. Success doesn't start when you get to work. It starts when you wake up and decide who you are, what you believe, and how you're going to move through your hours. The mind is most sensitive in the morning. What you feed it becomes the tone of your day. You get to decide if you're going to feed it fear or faith, doubt or determination, distraction or direction. Your mindset in the morning becomes your armor. It protects your peace. It reminds you that no matter what chaos the day throws at you, you are rooted, you are focused, you are here on purpose. When you begin your day with clarity, the rest of your choices become easier. You know what to say yes to and what to ignore. You stop running your autopilot and start acting with conviction. People underestimate what 5 strong minutes in the morning can do. They think change requires massive effort, but real transformation begins in the quiet choices. The decision to think differently, speak differently, move differently. It begins with a shift in attitude the moment you open your eyes. That's how you stop carrying yesterday's stress into today's potential. That's how you stop letting the past define the now. You clear your head, you set your focus, and you walk into the day already ahead because your mindset is already aligned with growth. The morning is where winners are made, not because they have more talent or resources, but because they've learned to master their start. They treat the beginning of the day like a sacred ritual, not just a routine. They understand that how you greet the day is how the day will greet you. When you rise with gratitude, discipline, and direction, the rest of the world can't shake that foundation. You've already built it before they even got started. That's not just motivation, that's mental leadership. That's a daily decision to create success before the world has a chance to define it for you. That's how your morning becomes your moment of power. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just be willing to start. That one shift in perspective can change the entire trajectory of your life. So many people stay stuck, waiting for the perfect plan, the right timing, or some sign that everything is guaranteed to work out. But life doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with opportunities, and those opportunities are only visible once you decide to take that first step. Waiting to feel ready is often just fear disguised as logic. You tell yourself you're preparing, you're researching, you're being cautious, but deep down you're hesitating. And hesitation over time turns into regret. The truth is, no one has it all figured out. Not the people you look up to, not the ones who seem successful, not even the ones who make it look easy. They're just people who decided to try, to move, to act, even when they didn't have all the answers. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to start. Start small, start messy, start unsure, but start. Action is the antidote to fear. When you begin, you create momentum, and that momentum teaches you things planning never could. Experience is the best teacher, and you only get it when you step into the unknown. Clarity comes through doing, not waiting. Every move you make reveals something new. You find out what works, what doesn't, what needs adjusting. But none of that happens if you don't begin. You don't need to map out every step of the journey. You need to believe that you'll figure things out along the way, that mistakes are part of the learning, and that growth happens through motion. It's a myth that successful people knew exactly what they wanted from day one. That they had a perfect vision and everything clicked into place. But more often than not, they started confused, broke, scared, or uncertain, but they started anyway. They didn't wait to be qualified. They didn't wait for permission. They trusted that their commitment would make them qualified. They knew that progress matters more than perfection. And that mindset gave them room to evolve, to build confidence, and to sharpen their vision with each new challenge. Starting doesn't mean you'll get it right immediately. It means you're willing to be a beginner, willing to look foolish, willing to put ego aside in exchange for growth. That humility, that hunger to learn is what carries you forward. You don't have to take a giant leap. Even a small, consistent step in the right direction begins to shift your life. It tells your brain that you're serious. It tells the world that you're showing up. And that shift attracts new possibilities, connections, and breakthroughs that you wouldn't have encountered otherwise. People overthink themselves out of progress. They build mental walls with what ifs and worst case scenarios. But often, the worst thing that can happen is not failure. It's staying in the same place because fear won. When you choose to act, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for life to happen and start participating in your own transformation. You stop being a spectator and start becoming the architect of your future. And along the way, you discover that confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you build by showing up for yourself over and over, especially when things are uncertain. Being willing to start, even when you're unsure, is a strength most people underestimate. It separates those who live with curiosity and courage from those who stay stuck in cycles of doubt. You learn more by doing in a week than by thinking for a year. You get further by taking one imperfect step than by planning the perfect journey you never take. It's not about being fearless, it's about being brave enough to move in spite of the fear. Once you begin, you'll look back and realize the hardest part wasn't the work, the challenge, or the risk. The hardest part was making the decision to begin. And once you do that, everything starts to shift. Gratitude and discipline go hand in hand when you're chasing your purpose. Most people think purpose is only about passion or inspiration, but the truth is, without gratitude and discipline, even the strongest sense of purpose will start to fade. Gratitude grounds you. It keeps your heart in the right place. It reminds you of why you started in the first place. When you're grateful, you're not focused on what you lack. You're focused on what you have. And that shift gives you power. It gives you the mental strength to keep going even when the road is rough. Because purpose isn't always about excitement. Sometimes it's about endurance. And endurance comes from having the discipline to stay consistent and the gratitude to stay content while you're growing. Gratitude is what keeps your spirit from being poisoned by comparison. It helps you focus on your own lane, your own timing, your own process. It allows you to recognize progress even when it feels slow. Without gratitude, you'll always feel like you're behind. You'll chase everything and appreciate nothing. But when you start the day thankful, not just for the big wins, but for the small ones too, you begin to notice how far you've already come. You start to respect your journey. And when you respect your journey, you start treating it with care. You stop rushing. You stop complaining. You stop letting distractions pull you away from what matters. Discipline, on the other hand, is how you honor your purpose. It's how you show up when motivation disappears. Anybody can work hard when they feel inspired. Anybody can give their best when things are exciting. But discipline is what keeps you moving on the days when your purpose feels distant, when the rewards aren't showing up, and when the grind gets heavy. It's what makes your purpose real. Not just an idea, but a lifestyle. Discipline is your commitment to consistency. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's saying no to distractions that steal your focus. It's choosing what's right over what's easy. It's doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Gratitude gives your journey joy. Discipline gives your journey structure. One feeds the soul, the other builds the path. Without both, your purpose becomes unstable. If you have gratitude but no discipline, you'll feel good but make little progress. If you have discipline but no gratitude, you achieve things but feel empty while doing it. But when you combine the two, when you wake up thankful for the chance to work on your dream and then actually show up and put in the work, that's where the real transformation happens. That's when your mindset becomes unshakable. That's when people start asking what your secret is. The secret isn't luck. It's the daily decision to be grateful for the process and discipline in your action. Most people are either waiting to feel motivated or they're focused on everything they don't have. That keeps them stuck. Gratitude and discipline break that cycle. They give you back your power. They remind you that you don't need everything to be perfect to begin. You just need to be thankful for where you are and focused on what you can control. And what you can always control is your effort. You can choose to show up. You can choose to be better than you were yesterday. You can choose to honor your dream even when no one's watching. That kind of energy builds momentum. That kind of commitment moves mountains. When you start appreciating the process, the slow days, the small wins, the early mornings, the late nights, you start falling in love with the journey instead of being obsessed with the destination. That love fuels your discipline. It reminds you that every rep, every task, every sacrifice is not just a chore. It's a building block for the life you're creating. Purpose is a fire, and gratitude and discipline are the fuel that keep it burning no matter what storms come your way. Your past may explain you, but it doesn't define your future. Each day is a reset. No matter where you've been, what you've done, or how many times you've fallen, every new morning is a clean slate. The past carries lessons, but it should never become a cage. Too many people are dragging yesterday's weight into today's opportunity. They allow old failures, old pain, and old identities to dictate how they move in the present. They let guilt and regret cloud their judgment. And in doing so, they stop themselves from stepping into the future they were meant for. But the truth is, you are not your past. You are who you decide to be right now in this moment. And the beauty of life is that you get to make that decision every single day. Each sunrise is a silent invitation to rewrite the narrative. You're not stuck unless you choose to be. Just because something didn't work out yesterday doesn't mean it can't work today. Just because you failed once doesn't mean you're a failure. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean that's who you are. Growth is a process and transformation is built on grace. The grace to forgive yourself, the grace to let go, and the grace to begin again. Your future is shaped by what you believe today and what you're willing to do about it. That power is in your hands, not in your past. Some people use their past like an anchor, constantly weighing themselves down with what was. But the past should be used like a compass, not to hold you back, but to guide you toward better. If it taught you something, it served a purpose. If it broke you, it built you. If it humbled you, it prepared you. The most powerful people aren't the ones who never went through anything. They're the ones who refuse to let what they went through become a prison. They felt the pain, they learned the lesson, and they moved forward with more wisdom and more fire than before. Living in the past is like trying to drive while staring in the rearview mirror. You'll never get where you're going if you focus on what's behind you. That doesn't mean you forget. That doesn't mean you ignore your history. It means you honor it by growing from it instead of being chained to it. You can't change what happened, but you can change how it shapes you. You can decide to become stronger, kinder, wiser, more resilient. And every day you wake up, you have the chance to act on that decision. This mindset of daily renewal is how people rebuild after loss, how they recover after failure, how they rise after being knocked down. They refuse to be defined by their worst moment. They refuse to be limited by their past mistakes. Instead, they embrace each morning as a chance to start again, to speak differently, to think differently, to act differently. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about refusing to let it have the final say. You may have chapters of your life you're not proud of, but they are not the whole story. And the next chapter can be one of greatness, one of healing, one of purpose, if you're willing to turn the page. The power of a new day is that it levels the playing field. It gives everyone, no matter where they came from, a new chance. But only those who believe that will take action. Only those who stop saying, I've always been this way, and start saying, I can be better today will grow. Every time you rise from bed, you have a decision to make. Carry yesterday's weight or carry today's purpose. And if you choose purpose, you open the door to a future that's bigger than anything behind you. Your story is still being written, and you hold the pen.